To our fifth speaker today, this is old news, because he's the head of trends and insights of TrendWatching, which is a trend-watching company based in London, and I think this is a brilliant name for a trend-watching company. The SEO would have said, congratulations. He's an international writer and speaker. He's been covering technological, cultural, and social change for the past 12 years. And this is why we invited him, because companies ask him, okay, what's next? And then he answers. And this is what we want to know from him, what's next? He's known for his actionable presentations and really engaging with the audience. So I'm looking forward for the next 30 minutes, and you should be too. Welcome, David Mattin.
Thank you everyone, thank you. Okay, thank you for that lovely introduction. So I'm here to talk to you about consumer trends, trends that I think are relevant for you as digital people, as digital innovators, that present some real opportunities. Before I get started though, I want to start with a quick exercise. So I'm going to show you all two consumer-facing innovations, and for each of the two, I just want you to answer one really simple question, and the question is, good idea or bad idea? So what we're going to do is we're going to run through the innovations. I'm going to hand over to you for 1 minute to talk about them, then we'll come back to me and find out what you thought. Okay, so this is your first innovation. This is called Airfrov. This is a platform in Singapore. What it does is it connects people who are traveling with people who want something from the destination that they're going to. So for example, you come to this platform and you say, you know, I want some special cake from Singapore. Someone on this platform goes, oh, how fortunate, I'm going to Singapore next week. I have some space in my suitcase. I could put some cake in that space. I'd charge you $10 and you have your cake. So this is Airfrov. If you want something from abroad, you use it to connect someone who's traveling to that destination and get the thing you want. Okay, excuse me, next innovation. This is Catstacam. This was launched by Whiskers, the pet food company, in Australia earlier this year. This is for people who want to know what life is like if you are a cat. Okay, yeah, okay. I'm sure we've all asked ourselves that. So if you want to answer that question, what you do is you strap this little camera, you can see it behind me, to your cat. Let your cat run around, and this camera will post to Instagram every 20 seconds a picture, much like these teenagers. It's posting very often, right, like the teenagers we just saw on Snapchat. So you can see the life that your cat is living. If you have any questions, you can send a quick tweet to Whiskers with the picture and say, can you explain this behavior to me? You know, I want to understand what my cat is doing here. Can you help? Okay, so two innovations, one question, good idea or bad idea. So in a minute, what I'd love you to do is just turn to the person next to you, introduce yourself, talk to them about what you're going to do tonight, you know, which Hamburg night spot you're going to hit tonight, but take a few seconds as well to just talk through both these innovations. Ask yourself, is it a good idea or a bad idea? And in 1 minute, I'll be back to you to find out what you thought. So over to you for 1 minute. Okay, thank you. Back to me. Back to me. Thank you. Thank you. This is my favorite part because I get to find out what you guys all think. So we're just going to do this by a show of hands. We're just going to vote. You remember the question was good idea or bad idea. So let's just run through both of them and see what you thought. So Airfrov, just by show of hands, who thought good idea? Okay, interesting. Who thought bad idea? Thank you. Okay, who wants to shout out why they think Airfrov might be a bad idea? Anyone? Singapore. Drugs. Right. Thank you. Any others? Drug mules is one I often hear. Any others? Any others want to shout out why it might be a bad idea?
Tax evasion.
Sorry? Tax evasion. Okay, there's a lot of crime going on with you guys. Interesting. Let's come to the next one. Cats to cam. Good idea. Okay, bad idea. Who wants to shout out why they think cats to cam is a good idea? It's fun. All right, perfect. That's enough. I think that's brilliant. Thank you. Why did we do that? Okay, what I'd love you to take away from it is it's not about you, and it's not about me either. Now, when we see something new, it's human nature to just have a very immediate, visceral response, which is usually something like, yeah, I love that, or no, I hate it. The first step when it comes to being a trend watcher is to just take a step back from that immediate response and ask yourself, okay, who would like this, and for what reasons? Just to take a step back and ask yourself those questions, try to look through the eyes of the consumer. So just a tiny bit about us. You heard a bit in the introduction. I'm from a place called TrendWatching. We have offices in London, New York, Singapore, Sao Paulo, but we're really fueled by this slide you can see behind you. This is our insight network. This is a collection of thousands of people all around the world, just like you, sending us innovations of the kind I just showed you, new products, new services, new campaigns from their market all the time. And what we're trying to do in the office is simply just spot the patterns when it comes to those innovations, spot the new directions of travel, spot the trends. Now, when I say I'm a trend watcher, sometimes people can get the wrong idea. I'm not talking, as you can tell just by looking at me, I'm not talking about these kind of trends. I'm not talking about fashion trends. I'm not talking about economic trends. I'm not talking about what's trending online, okay? We have a definition of a trend that goes like this. It's a new manifestation among people of a basic human need or want. That's really important, a new manifestation among people of a basic human need or want. And by the way, I see some of you writing stuff down, which is great, thank you, but you can take this whole PowerPoint away afterwards, and it has tons of notes in it, so I'm going to go pretty fast. If you miss anything, I'll email you the deck. You can check it all out later. Now, this definition might seem pretty intangible to you, so I just want to run through our model of how trends emerge. That's really going to help set the stage for the trends that I'm going to go on to show you. So we have a model, really, that runs like this. On the one hand, there is change. The world is changing all the time. Technological change, social change, attitudinal change. We live with this tremendous change. We all know that. On the other hand, there's human nature, which basically, fundamentally, does not change that much over time, okay? Human beings are motivated by this basic set of needs and wants, value, excitement, the big ones, love, safety, security. They're very stable. Those motivators do not change over time. Now, it's our view, we're pretty passionate about the belief that new trends emerge when external change unlocks some new way of serving these basic human needs and wants. Just a really quick example, Mark Zuckerberg, going back to ancient history now, clearly did not invent the human need for social connection. What he did is he saw that the online space, the digital space, had unlocked a new way of serving it. Facebook happened, pretty good for Mark Zuckerberg. So this is the slide I really wanted to end on, innovations, because, again, we're pretty passionate about this idea that you can spot new trends emerging when you look at innovations. And that's because you can spot how the innovators are using change to unlock new ways of serving basic human needs and wants. Okay, so when we look at how innovations, new products, new services, new campaigns are unlocking new ways to serve basic human needs and wants, that really is going to help us spot trends. Another way of saying that, pretty simply, is I am looking for the innovations that change consumer expectation. These are innovations that create new expectations among consumers. Those expectations spread through the consumer arena. Okay, eventually they will spread to your door. So it's really helpful if you see them coming. You can innovate for them in advance. And that is what today is all about. I'm going to show you 4 trends, loads of innovations. For you, it's just about being relentless about asking yourself, how are these innovations changing consumer expectation? What do they mean for me? And how can I serve those expectations that are coming my way with a new product, new service, new campaign of my own? I'm just looking for you guys to have that one light bulb moment, that one slide, that one innovation you see where you think, I have to email this back to my team. We should be doing something with this. We could have been doing something with this last year. We've got to act now. Okay, and one last thing. When you're thinking about how to apply trends, this is a really useful framework. Think about where in your business you're going to apply it. You can use a trend to change your entire business vision. It could be a new business concept. It could be a new product, service, or campaign. It could be some new marketing. It's a really useful framework to bear in mind when we look at the trends. Okay. Oh, I've skipped on. So let's have a look at the first trend. Yeah, I love this guy. So I wanted to go through a few of the themes that we're talking about at this conference. I haven't got time for all 6, but the first one I wanted to look at is how will we live? And I wanted to start with the sharing economy. The promise of the sharing economy, the promise of this trend that we all know about, was that it would change the way we live, right? We'll all be sharing our cars, sharing different objects, bicycles, it's about the access economy now. We're not going to have to own or, half the things we used to have to own. It's really fundamentally going to change the way we live. The problem with the sharing economy so far has been that the practicalities of that have been difficult, because how really do you share your car with someone on a daily basis? How really do you share your bike with someone on a daily basis? So you're at work, your car's in the car park, how do you give this guy the keys? It's hassle, how do you do that? We see now a new trend coming down the pipeline that really solves that problem, and it's this, the Internet of Shared Things. And this is about another trend, a tech trend, the Internet of Things, converging with the sharing economy and really now unlocking that promise of the sharing economy. Okay, the Internet of Things is going to be able to solve those practical difficulties and make sharing truly seamless, truly useful, truly practical, and that is going to be a revolution. And just really quickly, lots of consumers say so far they haven't seen the point of the Internet of Things. 36% say, why would I buy a connected device? Smart object, I don't really see the point of them. Okay, this is going to give them a really clear reason why they want to do it. So I've already defined the Internet of Shared Things. It's about the Internet of Things converging with the sharing economy and unlocking, finally, the promise that the sharing economy gave us of a true revolution when it comes to our relationship with our physical objects. Now, I want to run you through some examples of how that's going to work. This is the first one. This is Audi Unite. This is a new service from Audi that allows users to buy a car in a private network of up to 5 people. You use your smartphone app to keep track of the car, to see who's got it. You can book slots, say, I want to use the car at 3 p.m. this afternoon. And also, crucially, at the end of the month, you can pay a fixed fee, or you can also pay according to how much you use the car. So if you use the car a lot, you pay a lot. If you use the car a little, you pay a little. So you can already see connectivity, smart objects, unlocking the promise of the sharing economy, making sharing of a car, in this case, truly practical, truly seamless. Another example, this is Breather. This launched early this year in New York City. This is about unlocking urban spaces for micro amounts of time, like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. So yeah, sure, we already have Airbnb, but with Breather, you can open the app, you can find spaces in New York City that are available to access, right now, and just access them for 20, 30 minutes. The key is emailed to your smartphone screen, hold it up against the door, and you're in. Now, I don't know why, and you might want to ask yourself why you would want to unlock an urban space, maybe on a Friday night for just 20 or 30 minutes. But I'm sure that there is some use case, there's some basic human need at work there. Okay, BitLock. This is the same thing, but for bikes. Okay, very simply, this smart bike lock, you email a key to your friend or to a stranger, it gets on his screen, he holds it up against the lock, and he can share your bike, obviously, then can communicate with you about where he's locked it back up, and making sharing of a bike for the first time truly seamless, truly practical. And this is not the only only kind of this example. We've seen 2 or 3 of these kinds of smart bike locks in the last few months. Last example, umbrella here. This is one of my favorites. It's this little plastic thing, you can see it right up there. You clip it to the top of your umbrella. The first thing it does is it sits in your house, and if it thinks it's going to rain today, if it's going to rain in the future today, it just starts to bleep at you and just saying, David, don't forget your umbrella, it's going to rain. So that's pretty useful. But then the second thing it does is the makers of this umbrella here, they want it to be like a taxi light for umbrellas. So you're walking around with your umbrella. If you set your light to green, that means I'm happy to share my umbrella. If you set your light to red, that means I'm kind of unfriendly today. I'm not happy to share my umbrella. I'm afraid you're going to have to get wet. So think about that. Truly seamless sharing of umbrellas out on the street. It could be the new Tinder. Maybe just a thought for you. Okay. Now, one last trick with this trend. There is no easier way to coin a trend at the moment than to just insert some basic human need into the Internet of Things. I've talked to you about the Internet of sharing things. Sharing is a basic human need. What about the Internet of caring things? These chopsticks are from China, from the Chinese tech giant Baidu. Now, a common problem in China is what's called recycled oil, gutter oil. It's oil that's been used to cook your food over and over and again, and then it's used again. It's not very pleasant. Now, these chopsticks do just one thing. When they touch your food, they'll tell you if the oil that was used to cook it is fresh or not. So just serving one very simple question that taps into a really basic human need about safety and hygiene. Okay, just a very interesting example of how you can coin a trend if you just insert a basic human need into the Internet of Things. So, have you already had your light bulb moment? Okay, how can you serve the expectations that are coming down the pipeline when it comes to the Internet of Things, when it comes to these kinds of digital services? Even if you're not an Internet of Things person yourself, if you're not going to go and make one of these devices, think about what these examples are doing to consumer expectation and how you can serve those expectations in your own business. Okay. Second trend, I wanted to cover how will consumers shop. This is the Amazon drone, you will recognize it. But my key point here is that even in a world with all this technology, okay, we've talked about the Internet of Things, you've seen the Amazon drone, we've all seen all these drones that are going to be delivering our pizza and all this stuff. Even in that kind of world, a compelling brand, a great experience is still about feelings. In the end, human beings are irrational, we're emotional, we make decisions based on how we feel. And so good customer service, which is such an important part of a great retail experience, is about feelings. It's about how you feel. Now, if I tell you that I'm going to show you a trend that is kind of based on what Uber is doing to consumer expectation, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, okay, he's going to go on about the plethora of one-touch services we have now, one touch for this, one touch for that. And yes, you're right, we see the Amazon Dash button, we've all seen this, stick these buttons to your appliances, and with one touch, you can buy, your nappies or your washing powder or whatever it is. You can see how that kind of example is cultivating the expectations created by a service like Uber and bringing it to a different industry, which is a really interesting example for you guys to think about what I talked about earlier, this idea of expectation transfer. Okay, one touch starts with Uber, now it spreads to Amazon, your washing machine, your laundry powder, all that stuff. But that is not the trend that I want to show you. The trend I want to show you is somewhat more counterintuitive. It's called two-way transparency. It's still cultivating expectations created by Uber, but two-way transparency is about brands rating their customers. Okay? This is about brands and businesses subjecting their customers to being rated. And we know where this comes from. It comes from, even before Uber, the peer-to-peer economy. We're all accustomed, if you deal on eBay, to being rated as a seller as well as a buyer. And now with Uber, we know that we're being rated by drivers. If we're rude, and I'm sure this would never happen to any of you, but if you're rude or drunk even when you get into your Uber, you will be given a low star rating by your driver and find it hard to get another Uber for the next little while. Now, that's creating expectations that are really interesting that I want to talk to you about. And I want to show you some examples of that. This is Savannah. So we'd expect other on-demand, one-touch services to kind of be rolling with this trend. So this is the Uber for haircuts. It launched in New York City. Open the app, one touch, you get a barber to your apartment, and that barber at the end of the haircut will rate you. So if you're rude to your barber, don't expect to get another barber from these people in the immediate future. Okay, you are going to be rated as a customer. This is the Art Series Hotel. And this is where it gets really interesting, okay, because this is a hotel in Melbourne, and what they did earlier this year is they rated their guests for their behavior and their demeanor. They rated them out of 5 stars. They published those ratings online, and people who kind of won, people who came top of the league tables, were given some money to spend at the spa of the hotel. A really interesting example of two-way transparency. This is Stefan's Head. This is an online retailer. You have to text them to buy from them, but also before you buy from them, they'll text you back and say, we are checking out your social media accounts to see what kind of person you are, to see if we think you're cool enough to buy from us. You know, we're going to look at your Facebook, we're going to look at your Twitter, we're going to look at your Instagram. If we decide that you're allowed to buy from us, we'll let you know. And then if they do decide you can, you start to get more texts with products. So again, you're being rated by them. In this case, before you can buy, you're being rated by them for various social attributes. And this is a really interesting trend to just go back to this framework quickly and ask yourself where you can apply trends, because you can see how this trend with something like Uber, it's a really fundamental part of their business concept. With Stefan's Head, it's a really fundamental part of their business concept. With the Art Series Hotel Melbourne, it became just a fun campaign. Basically, that's something that got them some free PR, that got them some free advertising. So you can see how the same trend can be applied at different levels in your business, and that's really important. And just to end on that, this is Pret. Okay, what we learned recently from the CEO of Pret is that baristas at Pret are given a freebie budget. They're basically given money and told, if you like a customer, if they're friendly, if they're nice, give them a free coffee, give them a free muffin every now and again. And what that does in Pret, and this really is the whole point of the two-way transparency trend, is it creates a virtuous circle that means the experience in the end is better for everyone, because customers go into Pret being their best selves, right? Being very happy, being very smiley, trying to get a free cup of coffee. That puts the baristas in a better mood, and then the customers even better mood, and it just cycles upwards. Because, of course, this is a counterintuitive trend. We think of good service as about being, servile, doing anything you can for your customer. This is about demanding something of your customer or subjecting your customer to being rated. But the key point in the end is that if you do it well, it creates a better experience for everyone. And consumers now understand that from Uber. They understand that the Uber two-way rating system makes Uber taxis work better, makes them safer, and they're bringing those expectations to other places. So how can you serve those expectations? How could you, as digital innovators, subject your users, your customers, to some two-way transparency that will really improve the experience for everyone in the end? If you can answer that one question, that would be a massive win going away from this conference. Okay, how will consumers make is my next topic. This is a trend called instant skills. Instant skills is really simple. It's all about professional, high quality, great output with almost zero effort. And we know where this comes from, okay? Instagram turned us all into kind of art house photographers, years back now. So that expectation that I can produce great output and it should be effortless for me, it should be really easy, is there. It exists in the minds of consumers already. This is a great place to stop and talk about another fundamental basic human need. I keep talking to you about basic needs. Of course, in our societies, in affluent societies, our most fundamental basic human needs are already met. We have food, we have shelter, we're pretty safe, and we're very lucky. Now, in that kind of environment, another basic human need rises to the surface, and that basic human need is status, okay? Status is probably the key driver of most consumer behavior in affluent societies. Now, we all know what old-fashioned status used to look like. It was the big house, the fancy car, the handbag. We're so affluent now, we have so much now, that even those things do not bring us the status that they used to. And in that kind of environment, status has really diversified, it's fragmented, and status now is a lot more about who I am as a person than what I have, okay? So in this kind of consumer arena where who I am is perhaps the most important thing, This trend really rises to the surface. That's why this trend is so powerful for now, because if you can create services that allow consumers to tell the world a great story about who they are and earn some status that way, that is hugely powerful. There's nothing more powerful that you could do as a brand than that. Now, I want to show you some examples of how other people are doing it to inspire you. Okay, this is Seed Sheet. This is really simple. You come to a platform, you type in your postcode, it will analyze the soil in your postcode and decide which plants and which vegetables will grow best in your soil. It will then put them into this sheet. It will put this sheet in the post to you, and all you do is you roll this sheet out in your garden, and boom, instant vegetable patch or instant flower patch if that's what you selected. So just great output, done really simply. Have your friends round, make them a stew that you made using the carrots that you grew in your garden, but they don't know that it's all thanks to this little guy, this Seed Sheet. This is Hexo. I love this one. This is a drone you tether to your smartphone, and this drone will follow you. Put your smartphone in your pocket, and this drone will follow you anywhere. So this guy's doing some kind of tricks on his motorbike, followed by his drone. Now think about that. Think about the footage that guy is creating and what that would have taken 10 years ago. You're talking about a professional, movie quality camera operation, a helicopter, probably all that stuff. Now he can take that kind of footage just with a pretty affordable drone and a smartphone. So really effortless, professional quality output that will earn him some serious status points on Facebook, whatever it is. This is from Absolute. This is what they call their booze box. They call it a drinks printer, so it can store 200 drinks recipes. You just come to the thing, come to the box, stick your glass in, press a button, instant drink. They say that it can make cocktails 15% more efficiently than a barman. I don't really know what that means. 15% more efficiently. I guess they mean faster. It's one of these things brands say that doesn't really make sense, but stick this thing in your kitchen, and you can be 15% more efficient than any barman and amaze your friends with the drinks that you are creating. Okay, now this one is amazing. Me Too Juju. I guess you've heard of this app. It has 400 million users, mostly in China, and what this app does simply is make your selfies look amazing. Okay, wouldn't we all love that? Well, we have it now. You can download this app, and you can see the improvement. I don't think there's anything wrong with the first selfie, but the second selfie is even better, right? I think you would agree. The second selfie is an improvement, and that's what Me Too Juju is all about. And just this year, Me Too Juju launched their first phone. It's called the M4, and it has this app built in. Okay, so when you take a selfie with this phone, it's just immediately made even more beautiful than it was before. So again, professional quality output with zero effort. And this is a great one to finish on. This is just a concept right now, but I'm promised that it is coming down the pipeline. This is Foreo Moda. It's a makeup 3D printer, okay? So you use a smartphone, you use a smartphone to choose the look that you want, okay? Choose the makeup look that you want. You then stick your head in that machine, and in seconds, that look is recreated for you. So ladies and gentlemen too, obviously, effortless makeup application. Maybe it's not one to try right before a big date. Okay, maybe just try it at home first, just to be confident. But effortless, professional quality output in an instant, okay? Now, of course, that example is frivolous. It's a concept, they're going to make it, so they say. But the crucial thing is, what is it doing to the expectations of your customers? What's an example like Seed Sheet doing to the expectations of your customers? In a world where they're surrounded by these services that are making it effortless for them to produce great output and earn that status, that expectation is there, it's being heightened every day. How are you going to serve it? How are you going to meet that expectation? It's a massive question to ask yourself and to try to answer. Okay, how will consumers play is my last theme. I wanted to talk to you about another tech trend, the quantified self. I saw some of you saying you have wearable devices. The Apple Watch has launched. I'm sure lots of you are wearing one. The quantified self promised to be a revolution in how we play, right? It was going to motivate us to be much more active, do much more exercise, gamify all that, really change our lives. The problem is, the results are coming in on the quantified self, and they're not so good. A third of people, when they buy a wearable device, give up on it within 6 months, and it tails off pretty quickly after that. So if you bought an Apple Watch, you might want to be thinking about how committed you're going to be to it in the next 6 months. We have an answer, or we're seeing an answer coming down the pipeline, and it's this trend, currencies of change. Currencies of change is about brands rewarding consumers for behavior that's good for the consumer. I've talked to you about status and how crucial that is. We know consumers are on this endless search to become better people, to become the people they want to be, and to tell the world that story. This is about brands helping them do that, okay? And if you can become a brand that helps consumers take the kind of actions they want to take, display the kinds of behaviors they want to display, that is enormously powerful for you as digital people. Now, I want to show you some examples of how other people are doing this. This is Tencent, the Chinese tech and game giant. Okay, what they did is they partnered with some wearable devices, and they simply said, the more points you rack up on your wearable device, the more activity points, the more you run, the more you can come back to our game, plug your device in, and buy in-game points or in-game currency with those activity points. So instead of having to spend money on our in-game currency, go for a run, earn some activity points, and spend those in our game. Okay, so just motivating consumers to do something that they want to do anyway, which is be healthy, be fit, okay, but just partnering with them in that project to be a better person. This is a Czech sports brand. They did something similar. What they said is if you put on a wearable device and you run our logo, okay, if you run our logo and you prove it to us and you upload that run pattern to our platform, we will give you money off our products. Now, it's made a bit unfortunate by the fact that their logo is IS, okay, which has some different connotations now to it did, maybe a couple of years ago. But nevertheless, this is, again, a brand motivating consumers to take actions they want to take, to display behaviors that they want to display. Okay, but it goes actually beyond playing, because this is an example for students. I like this one. This is called Pocket Points. It was created by some universities in the USA. It's for students to use in lectures, and all it does is it gives you points. You open the app, and then you're earning points for as long as your phone is face down on the desk in front of you. So this is about rewarding students for paying attention in class. I'm not going to start asking you guys to use it, during these talks, but rewarding consumers for students for paying attention in class. If only they'd had that when I was at university. And just really quickly, this is no surprise. I mean, lots of millennials say they'd be more minded to use these kinds of devices if they were rewarded by the brands for using them. Just one thing really quickly. Rewards doesn't have to mean financial reward to the consumer. Okay, rewards can be broad. Think very broadly about what rewarding means. This is Fitbit. What they did is they partnered with a charity in America, and they said the more you go for a run with your Fitbit, the more activity points you rack up, the more we'll donate to this charity. It's a charity called Feeding America. The idea was to, in the end, donate £2 million. So they said, join this program with us. You'll see us reaching our target. As we get towards £2 million, you'll start to see that. You'll feel great about yourself. And that's the reward, is that you are giving to charity. So think broadly about what rewarding your customers means, okay, what they're trying to do with their lives. They're not just trying to get richer, they're also trying to help other people, they're trying to do good things for the planet, for society. You can tap into those as well. And last, okay, if rewarding doesn't work, think about punishing. This is an app alarm clock, and what this alarm clock does is it auto-donates to a charity of your choice every time you hit snooze. Yeah, so once or twice and you're feeling pretty good about yourself, 3 times, 4 times, starts to get a little bit expensive, and you would definitely get out of bed, right? You would definitely get out of bed by the 4th time. So if you can't reward your customers, think about giving them a little kick. Think about, punishing them a bit to help them do what they want to do. If you get that right, they will still love you. They'll love you even more. Okay, have you had your light bulb moment? It would be so powerful for you guys to think, who are my customers? but more importantly, who are they trying to be? What are the behaviors they're trying to display? What's the picture they have in their minds of this idealized self? And how can I help them? How can I reward them for taking steps towards that? If you tap in to this endless search to be a better person, that is massively powerful for you as businesses. Okay, now what I've shown you, of course, is just the tip of the iceberg. There are so many other trends I could have shown you. As well as the trends, I hope I've given you a framework. Oh, and by the way, I haven't covered move and work. I do have trends for that, just no time. If you want to come and ask me how people are going to move and work, just say hi and I'll tell you what I think. I'll give you my opinion. But as well as the trends I've given you, I hope I've given you a framework to look at the world, look at the consumer arena in a new way. And really quickly and really simply, that framework is this. Just remember change. What is changing? Technological change, social change, attitudinal change. Then think about human nature, the big motivators of human behavior that don't change over time: value, security, excitement, safety. And ask yourself, how is external change unlocking new ways of serving these basic needs and wants? And to try and answer that question, look at the innovations you see around you. Look at the new product, services, campaigns, and ask yourself, how is this example leveraging external change to serve a basic human need in a new way? Okay, if you walk around with that framework, you can become your own trend watcher. You can spot trends all day long. Then the important thing, of course, is to apply trends. Trends are nothing. If you don't apply them, you have to do something with them. Okay, think about where in your business you're going to apply them. I've shown you this slide so many times now. Where in your business will you apply them? And if you're really interested in those questions, I'm running a workshop at 4 p.m. today where we're going to take one of the trends that I just showed you, and we're going to unpack it, and we're going to turn it into a new idea, a new product, a new service, a new campaign idea. So I'm going to show you how to do that with this simple tool that you'll then be able to take away and apply with any trend. But for now, that is enough from me. It's been brilliant fun. Thank you so much. And I'll see some of you at 4 p.m. But goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Let me shake your hands. I would have loved to do the Q&A, but we're running out of time.
Of course.
We are very German here. We have to be strict.
Yes, yes.
I would have loved to know
understood.
if you used the 3D makeup printer today. Well, you can keep that for you.
No, I might use the selfie app later.